Yeah, oh god, we got a little bit interrupted there. Um, Sometimes, like when my pen breaks, keep using the lead because it helps me focus a bit more on what I'm writing. Like, I'm not writing like boxing and stuff like that, because the other stuff in the first part came to mind as I read the first 5 pages of my 10 pages for today. Well, 10 organised pages, sometimes it's more. Only 35 pages left in this book, so we've got a few things to do this weekend, so it'll definitely be read within the next week. But well, that's a definite, but probably earlier. But yes, I'm 33, so according to the Norse calendar thing, I'll fully come into the awareness of like who I am. And then there's all this other stuff like how you can contribute and all that, and I tried all this stuff that I really thought was me in my 20s, and I found out that yes, some of them got me somewhere, like to an extent, but there was like I couldn't get beyond a certain limit of what I could contribute, which was a contribution which was helpful in these areas, like of whatever it was I was doing, but it wasn't like a major one. It was just like I was one of the guys involved with it type thing, like my Māori stuff. I thought I was gonna bring me, and in my immature ways, I thought that because of my appearance mixed with my last name and my heritage, that if I learned the language and the customs and all that type of stuff and did that, then I would be. I had a belief that for every 1 in 100, there would be a leader. So like for every 100 of them, Māoris, there'd be a leader, and they was going to be like that worldwide, in groups of 100, and I was going to be one of them. And we were going to bring peace and harmony to the nation of New Zealand and all this type of stuff. And now I look back and I realise it's quite well, yeah. I'm just trying to come up with another word, but it's quite narcissistic when you think of it. Like, also, like you because of the way you look, because of the ancestry you have, a mixture of the most recent colonizers, which was the British, as well as those who was the residents at the time, as well as other things, but that's the main ones. You think that if you learn the language and then you go and do this and that, you're gonna be a leader of, for every group there's gonna be 100 people, and you're gonna have your own group, and together with all the other leaders, you guys are gonna bring peace between the whole nation. It's quite, everyone needs to look after themselves, and I got over that a long time ago when I couldn't even get a job out of it. Like, I couldn't get it. I was getting positions like a tutor, I was getting positions like roles in the community and stuff, but it was all voluntary. 90% of it was voluntary, and I might get paid I might get 2 hours work where it's paid, for every week for a few months or something, and then might get nothing for the next few months, and then another 2 hours a week paid for it, and everything else I was doing was all voluntary. So I really enjoyed it. It's a part of who I am, but that's obviously not my career, and I don't need to be one of the leaders that has a group of, the whole nationwide. For every 100 people there's going to be a leader, and the leaders all going to work together to bring peace and harmony to the entire nation. Is a bit I was off. I guess that's what the mind of an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old that's what I thought anyway. Also, when I read the whole Bible for the first time, it got me thinking, oh, that's different. And the second time around, I was like, what? This is not the God that I knew. This is not the Jesus that I knew my whole entire life. And then, but I'm now 26 years old, and I've been going to church my whole entire life, and I'm frightened to let it go, because then I'll have to say that this whole 26 years, on a spiritual basis and a psychological basis, has been based upon a lie, and I really want to make sure before I leave. And so, well, no, actually, I read the first time when I was 26, second I was 27. So after reading the Bible again, for full Bible for the third time, was when I was 28 when I left the church. Only because I was like, this Jesus, or who I called God, which I thought was like another name for Jesus, is not the same one that I've been listening to. And I remember having visitations of like people who ended up being my ancestors because they said their name. Then I'd ask the elders, and then I'd say, "Oh, that's your great grandmother, because I'm your grandmother's sister, or your grandmother's auntie, or just and that was my grandmother." And they used to say, because I used to turn down sexual stuff. Like, I believe now it's like, it's good to have relationships and that. It is. But I used to believe you should not have any sex until you're married. I didn't lose my virginity till I was 28 because of that belief. I'm now 33. And so, yeah, I had these ancestors of mine saying, like, everything's going to be good, everything's going to be okay. And some of them were Māori and they couldn't speak English, so I'd speak English to them and they'd pause this. And then I say, but you need to go and do what you want to do. And why did you turn down these women you find attractive? You should have, spent some time, and then maybe after spending time with them, have a bit of fun, and then try and, make it work. But you didn't, so we don't understand why you hate yourself so much. Why do you hate yourself so much? And I used to say, oh, God says this and God says that, and I'll tell them about the Bible, but they just couldn't wrap their head around it. So maybe those ancestors looked like the grandmother of my grandmother, but were further back, because they couldn't wrap their head around, you could see them, they couldn't wrap their head around the concept of why you just go with those and be like, you're attracted to this woman, you like her, but there's this thing that's telling you that you can't, because of, and then you deny your own desires of your heart. So why do you hate yourself so much? And they couldn't wrap their head around it. But that's the bit of Christianity I don't like. It's like, because I prayed, and I remember 2 times going on 40-day prayer and fasts, and those desires never left. And that's when that got me really questioning, why did you take my evil desires away if they're evil? I'm praying and fasting. I did it and it never got taken away. And now that I'm pursuing those desires in a healthy way, I'm seeing a lot more happiness and success in my life. So yeah, Oh yes, and that example that I used for sports team, I quit playing rugby. I didn't play rugby for the last 2 years of my high school because I wanted to finish high school because I was struggling. But I graduated because I thought that if you didn't graduate, you won't get employment anywhere. And I found out that wasn't true later on. And then I played rugby for a couple more years after high school, and then gave it up so I could, because I was struggling at my degree. Like, I was like barely passing, but like stressed out, so I gave that up to focus on doing my degree in Te Reo and Māori studies, which encompasses the Māori language as well as customs and all that, because I told you guys earlier my intentions. But yeah, that's what happened there. So those examples I was saying and other, that satisfaction plus intimidation attempt was, in many ways I was like that, but I didn't intimidate people, but I had seen other people, it did intimidate them, and I understood why, so I let it happen. But I did used to, so I used that as an example, but I've had people hate me because I graduated high school and I ended up getting a job, not being unemployed, and graduated my degree. So yeah, Know Thyself 1388, I'm just starting to come into it. I'm a member of the human community, obviously, and you guys take care of yourself. And I could say more, but I've only got 4 seconds left, so bye.